Barak and Shalom. This is Malek Boaz Ban Yochanan Ban Dawid of Yahuda. I am Nabi Ahaya Elohim, that is the prophet of the Most High God. And today I'm going to be starting a new series called Scriptures Not Taught in Church. And what we're going to do to start this series out today is we're going to talk about the curse of the Negro American, or the curse of the African American. Okay. This lesson will totally and completely be out of the book of Deuteronomy and solely out of the chapter 28 of Deuteronomy. So let's go ahead and open that up. Deuteronomy. Let's switch Bibles. I like to use the New Living Translation because it speaks in very, very clear, concise English. Deuteronomy 28. We could always swap out for the American King James, which I'm not necessarily sure I will do. If I do choose to do that, it will be later on in the lesson. Okay, so what I need to first mention about this is that the book, or the chapter of 28 in the book of Deuteronomy, is all in reference to curses and blessings that will be received or that will befall the Hebrews or the Hebrew Israelites of the newly founded and formed land of Israel, just freshly conquered from the Canaanites. Okay. Now, here in Deuteronomy, they have not moved into the land yet. All right. And what this chapter is letting them know is giving them a precursor, more or less. It's telling them, listen, these are all of the rewards that God is not only willing to give you, but he has already set aside and stored up mountains high to give you guys, as long as you continue to stay in his guard. And that is to follow his laws, statutes, and commandments. But as soon as you decide to fall out of his guard, or in other words, not continue to follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, then there are a procession of curses that will befall the Hebrew Israelite, or that original Hebrew, or that original Jew. The originals from the tribes of Yisrael. All right. Now, if anyone knows anybody nowadays who says that they are Jewish, I can bet two things. One, they're white. Two, they have no tribe heritage. A true Jew has heritage to one of the tribes of Israel. So if you go talk to your friend who is a Jewish person and you ask them what tribe of Israel they are from, and they either can't tell you or they tell you that they're not from any tribe of Israel, that right there, my friends, is absolute unadulterated proof that they are not real Jews. The term Jew comes from the name Judah. Okay, from the tribe of Judah. All the Judites, or the Hudites, were eventually called by the Greeks, or the Romans, not the Greeks, the Romans, when they came and conquered, they were eventually called Jews at that point in time. They pretty much just condensed the Judite to the word Jew. And then they synonymously applied that completely across the board for anyone that has any kind of heritage or bloodline or lineage to Hebrews or to Israel himself. That is the individual who was the man who became the country by way of his 12 sons, by way of the 12 tribes that they created. Okay. All right. So this first half of Deuteronomy, I mean, there's 68, I don't know, verses, chapters in this chapter, or verses in this book or whatever. There's 68 verses in this chapter. There we go. Okay. So the first half completely talks about the blessings that will befall the Hebrews and the curses that will befall the Hebrews if they either follow or do not follow Yahuwah's laws, statutes, and commandments. What is real interesting is that in between the blessings and the cursings, there is a verse that is mentioned that Yahuwah wanted to apply to his original people, the Hebrews, the Hebraic Jews, that the new world or modern day Jews have taken as their own birthright from us original Jews. And that specific birthright is to be the head and not the tail, to be the lender and not the borrower. Those Jews were very smart and very cunning. And when they came across that passage in the Bible, they understood what it meant. And so when they went about vulturing and vampiring and siphoning the Hebrew heritage and lineage as Jew or Judaism or Jewishness, then they also applied this specific verse out of Deuteronomy 28 to that, because they understand that that verse goes along with the lineage of the Hebrews. So it was only supposed to be applied to them as Hebrew Jews. And so the New World Jews knew that carrying the name Jew also kind of sort of connotates factoring in some of the providences that Yahuwah had set in place for his original Hebrew Jew people. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to read this chapter and I want to break it down into sections. Okay, and I'm going to do this in segments. All right. Now, I just gave you an introduction for the most part to let you know what we're going to be talking about, to let you know why we're going to be talking about it. And I've kind of given you just a slight hint as to why it is important for us to talk about this. Now we need to go into the scriptures themselves. So I will catch you on the next video.